See, me, I don't know for those of you who are more fast now serious. Because see, Mikel Arteta, any team who are building Arsenal, people have to take them serious. I know, say Ubo Arsenal ding and you talk about winning, not just winning the English Premier League, not just winning Champions League, anything about winning Obi Abeka say Arsenal they were quiet say or sooner or say Diaso. They will come down. I can understand because the history of Arsenal Football Club, what the club has been through, what the club has done in recent times has shown that almost every time every competition they always flatter to deceive. But this is also true. Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. Someone subscribe to the channel now. Subscribe. Our best place for football analysis. Every day we give you the best of analysis, and in there, you know, we have the best bet code. So in the description of the video, every day you get the best analysis and get the best bet codes. And I can say there are 13 odds that are booming that's ready to go on for everybody that's take this morning. Of course, and then for video I'm buying in the morning because we had to rest a little bit, but we are back in the evening. On all of the Fiifi-Manfred social media handles, I'm a catch you WhatsApp, Facebook, Twitter. Just at least apart from YouTube, join one of them. So maybe at DB bet codes, you know, consistently. Again, also, say has said that this show has been made possible by Minia Yesumo Spare Parts Dealership Shop. Mr. Mo, I'm for Yesumo for bet codes. No, on your analyst. Yesumo a ton spare parts. Car spare parts now per dia. Then call Yesumo today. He will take very good care of you. Every car be out the edge, Jumano. Yesumo take good care of you. Freno, and or Aboso kind post office Freno Jenambano 059-313-8221 059-313-8221. Say Osanso pe se unya entire share you want to look good already Minoka say Gerard is going to go and bring some new consignments of clothes and apparel to look good. MOB clothing Gerard and my media. I'm to do a flower station. Charlie, the job they do there is the best. They do what they call the nationwide delivery. Mr. Call them quickly on 0200-668-708. Nakoko Joniama. Misina Manisi Bimamo 0200-668-708. Nakoko Joniama. Let's talk about Arsenal Football Club because they have done something huge. See, before Arsenal went to the Tyne side, they went to Newcastle and they went to play against Newcastle United at the St. James Park. They had a bad record there in recent times. No, in fact, Newcastle want to have built a team that dwells on physicality, aggression, and combativeness. They make it difficult for any team to play against them. Against Newcastle United. When I was here, we are Arsenal Football Club. You want to win the English Premier League. They will make it difficult for you to play against them. And that's why when you look to their team, from Joe Langton, from Dan Ben, from Fabian Shah, you add Marcel Small. These are physical specimens who can play the game, including their goalkeeper, Nick Pope. Almost sounds like your brand here from Nick Woltemade from Germany, Stuttgart, have a show team in him. And that makes it very difficult for you. Mikel last week, when the games were going on, Arsenal Man City they went into that game and down by a goal to 0, crawled it back and got 1-1 draw later in the game. A lot of the refereeing on social media was wrong, in my opinion. People kept on saying, oh, Mikel Arteta and Nancy, they don't have the mentality to push for laurels and get to the top. Anything that they are failing to restart the game quicker. See, we analysts, most times, you hear a lot of mistake of analyzing games without game state. And maybe that's why we are not coaches. But the game state is important. Sometimes people get swallowed by the moment. Sometimes people get, drowned by the adrenaline of the moment. And it affects teams. Arsenal in that game, I didn't mention, say, if you look at history, now Arsenal ain't initial Man City in a very long time. In fact, 2 or 3 seasons prior was the very first time Arsenal for an initial team for the Manchester City at the Etihad. At the Emirates. So it was always difficult for Mikel Arteta and any Arsenal team to go in there and then go and play against Manchester City at home. And they had crawled that back. And Man City for one first goal. Then they managed to get a win. They restarted the game, but then time wasn't there. They need to celebrate that little win because what again we forget is that it is a 38-match league competition. It's essentially a marathon. Not just not just Adia Oye Kekena F1, no, a huge marathon that you are running. And all running a marathon to get or success of playing in matches, be said, yeah, then you need to be able to make sure say, at the end of the day, no, Ubenya, you stay in it as long as possible. The few points that you get, you have to pick them because that is where you grow. That is where you get success in one hour. On the back of that, and now, Obiani say Chelsea drop a point, Liverpool drop a point, Man City win here. So then the onus was on Arsenal. And if you saw how the Liverpool game went, it was a game essentially against Crystal Palace. Now, currently, the only team where English Premier League on lose match, it was them versus Liverpool. Crystal Palace, the final goal was scored by Brentford friend Edin Ketia. Now, the report from London is saying that after say Arsenal, Edin Ketia was on a share. A lot of the Arsenal staff, any conform Mikel Arteta backroom staff, a friend catching is a Jack Edin Ketia wa you were very, very integral for us. And what you have done has given us the motivation to go to Tyneside or at the same James's Park to go and play football and impose ourselves and show that we can really get a success against Newcastle United. Was it going to be easy? No. Was Arsenal's resolve going to be tested? Yes. Is this where Mikel Arteta aimed the big bag? Yes. Do you have reservations because Arsenal have bottled a lot of trophies and a lot of successes in recent times? Yes. So that is obvious. You expected that Arsenal were always going to be jittery. They were always going to be found wanting. Same way bits me out, boom. But going away to Tyneside was a big test for them. Now, why I wasn't worried, and it's only a quote to be now pick here. You could see that all throughout the quotes. Let me choose Arsenal double chance or Arsenal straight win. There was never a moment I felt like Newcastle gets something out of this game. Now, why? Technically, I think that Mikel Arteta and Manti and every Newcastle for also they are a better team than them. Whether you want to play with a +1 in build-up, whether you want to generate possession, whatever you want to do, Mikel Arteta and his boys have proven that they are a better tactical team than them. They have quality players. Players no one man for man. We Nick Pope see on Aaron Ramsdale see on. I'm taking Aaron Ramsdale any day. We the two centre backs, whether it's Marcel's or Jamal Lascelles or Malik Thiaw or whoever. I'm taking William Saliba and Gabriel Magalhaes, even Christian Mosquera over that two. We the fullbacks of Livramento and I bring your friend what's his name? We even Trippier or whoever. I'm still taking the Arsenal fullback. So Arsenal have loads of quality in Fiifi-Manfred, Sandro Tonali, Bruno Guimaraes, and Brent Friend, Joe Langton. On any day, I'm going for the Arsenal midfield that has the technical ability and also do have skill. Don't forget that. And it's the reason why in a game like this, Mikel Merino was always going to be important. In the phases of technicality, he has a technical ability to be an important player for Arsenal Football Club. In the phases of physicality, you really draws 50-50 balls, you're going to battles, set pieces, this animal. You have a Brentford friend, Mikel Merino, also in there to be an important player for anything that you want to do. So every phase of play, every department, defense, goalkeeping, midfield, attack, Arsenal were there. They added a Brentford friend, as a central creator. Added Leandro Trossard in the team, Bukayo Saka did start, and then of course after was a Brentford friend, Victor Gyökeres. The big issue when the game started, Anche, was that possible penalty on our Brentford friend Victor Gyökeres. See, I was impressed by everything I started on the game, but that was not a penalty. Not a penalty. You see, who thoughts on the game and say that, oh, Fifi, that was a penalty. Somebody else can think that, oh, Fifi, that was not a penalty or whatever the case is. But the truth of the matter is that the big problem of VAR and in the English Premier League today, it's not about if we're a penalty and I win a penalty and I say this up. It is the inconsistencies. Because Seoka say, oh, and your penalty because ball now I bring to your friend Nick Pope ebano. Ne nine can ball ne kakra. And then ne nine or deban S1 and one of your crash because one bass about the payment. Then it means, okay, that makes sense, right? You can look at that and say, okay, fine, maybe this is the reason. Now, you can also look on the flip side and say that there's an example where Robert Sanchez, when Chelsea were playing against Manchester United, or Old Trafford, or by so by Klesa, Brian Mbuemo, or by the 90 carbono, or 29 or Clebon, the 90 carbono, and son and in Prima Brian friend Brian Mbuemo. So, what about that? It is the inconsistencies because me just born a buy now. Nick Pope and Basso Baby Butu Jokeresh. Or by no, or man, the body near large, and didn't any see on. So once Jokeresh kicked the ball, he was always going to run into Nick Pope. And that is something I remember again. Said in that game against Chelsea versus Manchester United, there was a tackle on Joao Pedro. It was not, they didn't give a penalty to Chelsea. Why? Again, it was a game where you felt that, okay, it's the margins. But it is the inconsistencies of the officiating in English Premier League. That is the bigger problem. And then I had the big problem of the English Premier League today. Now, you see, what I've said is that when people have to give credit to Mikel Arteta, they don't want to give credit to him. Time when Mikel Arteta before Arsenal team, where they were was a bad place. He has been there for 7 years. I know a lot of people say so. Mikel Arteta has been there for 7 years. In 7 years, the FA Cup and it's not good enough. But have they been progress? Yes. Arsenal mentality time Mikel Arteta before 1-0 at Newcastle, the tie was dead. There was no way Arsenal could have gone on to compete and get such a result. But such is the transformation of what Mikel Arteta has done at Arsenal Football Club. To the extent that they go down by a goal to 0 at Newcastle, then they believe they have the physical specimen to go into duels. They have the physicality to be very combative and turn possession over. They have the ability to stamp their feet and say that, oh yeah, dang, boy, you're going to be free. And that is Arsenal team. To be denying the penalty in the first half, coming back into the second half, the game being stretched. That is where I call on the quality of our branch friend Mikel Arteta on the changes that he made in them. Bringing on a branch here, your friend Ethan Nwaneri, adding Martin Odegaard to the team, and then of course keeping a branch friend Ebreche as one was very important. But again, it was Arsenal's strength that prevailed in this game. The strength of set plays, the strength of the crosses, the strength of corner kicks. They didn't come on several times. I can't several times for about 2 or 3 seasons now. Mikel Hover has been very important for Arsenal in terms of set plays, any set pieces, and then what he does on corner kicks. And that's exactly what they did. Which is our goal now, Mikel Merino, heading out the equalizer for Arsenal Football Club. It was a short ball. It was rotated a couple of times, in, out, crossed across the face of goal, and then Mikel Merino. And come here, I said almost every time he scores a goal for Arsenal, it's about stuff like this. And he was in the game for these moments. Mikel Merino started over Ethan Nwaneri or whoever for these moments, because now Mikel Arteta himself, and the game will come down to duels. The game will come down to physicality. And maybe you will need somebody to win the aerial duel. And maybe you will need a physicality to trump over somebody. And that is why you need a branch friend Mikel Merino. This time, when Arsenal made it 1-1, William Saliba ran into the goal, picked up the ball, and said that Young Concourse restarts the ball in the game. Then they went again. I remember that when the fourth official, which was this popular referee, Anthony Taylor, Eddie Board neighbor to come and put it up. So okay, you have about 8 more minutes. Just when Mikel Arteta share he began to do the 8-minute signs and the players not catch on. Say, Masa, we can go and get the win. Let's go and get the win. So I do not understand why people have been questioning the mentality of Mikel Arteta team. I don't understand why people have been questioning the quality of Mikel Arteta team. Yes, times can get difficult, but in football, it's important to always recognize gray areas. In a number, Bibianya black and white too. Like, and you say, okay, we are we are and I don't know, we share 2, we share 1 and 1. If that's the case, then there will be no need for analysts in the game. If that's the case, then there will be no point for anybody to do analysis of any game, because everybody can see the scoreline, everybody can see what went on in the game. But it's the gray areas that sets people apart. It's the gray areas that tells the real story of the things that we've not seen behind. And for me, today Arsenal showed Ariase, said they are willing to go toe-to-toe with everybody. What it means is that today, in the English Premier League table, after that win away at Newcastle United, and Liverpool's lost to Crystal Palace, and Arsenal have closed in on Liverpool with just 2 points. So it is big game on. The third team, Crystal Palace with 12 points. Then the Victoria Mospemoni, they have 11 points. And then the other teams below them. These guys are really showing that they want to go on and then compete for this season English Premier League. Then the final ball was that corner kick Arsenal for the goal from my branch friend Gabriel Magalhaes. Throughout the game. In fact, I think that in the first half, Sabona, Nick Votamari, and Pemye, people were complaining, so probably it was a foul on a branch friend Gabriel Magalhaes. It was never a foul. Nick Votamari and Bono. You see, one of the things that the attackers have linked these days is that nim say wo as a centre back. So who feel sending some you eda wachia, you will fall. Like a will team. So when you say player and some you eda machia, you feel like okay, and you're saying a BNT and you're better form. So usually the centre forwards, what they do is across the back or name some you need to play on the but on piano, it was just the hands on the back. It's not a push, so that it's not an undue advantage. Born about no year and opinion, and Gabriel Magalhaes was complaining. I mean, you made Dean Wohodom, and in this instance as well, he showed in the second half when Arsenal needed the winner that he can also win the game. But you see, inside with an Arsenal share, people will talk about Gabriel Magalhaes, but the defensive partner, a brand new friend William Saliba, was probably the most important player. Probably the most important player in what sense? In the sense that ball corner kick now William Saliba aging a branch friend Nick Pope and him. Now when Pierre Nick Pope, his job was just to make sure that Nick Pope was behind him constantly. And man Nick Pope and Mamesha will wedding. Or the man in Shawachi found Sano a feeling is also in piano and Hekono and Wono. Just feel him that he's behind you. Once you feel because Senipano Obi Osun what says Saliba Eshawenima and say you jump over him and he gets the ball. Nick Pope came, tried to jump over William Saliba, but before he did, the ball had been flicked by a branch of friend Gabriel Magalhaes at an Arsenal for winning ball by 2-1. And Charlie, congratulations to Arsenal for the good game and Elmo boy. It was such an excellent game plan for Mikel Arteta, staying in the game as long as possible, understanding what the game meant and what it was going to be for team friend Arsenal Football Club. No, it was always going to be important for Arsenal for which how they wanted to play and how the game was going to go on our horn. Congratulations to Arsenal. We'll see how the other games are going to go for Arsenal Football Club with respect to how games echo and how they want to play in other matches and how the season is going to be like. But stands now, they've closed in the conversation. They've closed in the conversation on the gap on Liverpool Football Club, and now it's a 2-1 lead. Our team, your friend Liverpool for one of them. They've shown everybody so makes me a bobono. They've shown everybody that they're a very, very good side. And in the English Premier League table, it's Liverpool with 15 points, Arsenal with 13 points, and our tournament. It tells you that Arsenal for are very, very confident that they'll be able to go on and then go and get the all-important win. Our tournament. After say Enzo Maresca, and Chelsea for one airdrop points or Enzo Maresca didn't come up. He has had some good conversation between only players and say the focus is on Tuesday, Chelsea game, Omni team, your friend Benfica. For him, it's a game where the boys still have to give their all and then perform because it's not going to be easy. And then they knew that wasn't going to be easy. For me, there isn't too much of a big deal for Chelsea because it's just 2 losses in 3. And in all of them, if you analyze the context of the game, you can see where Chelsea have issues. The big one is Chelsea game, Benfica, but Jose Mourinho will lick his lips knowing that the team now going to play against possibly Benoit Badiashile and your brand friend Joshua Kofi Champon. But then this can be a big chance for Joshua Champon and Benoit to build a solid partnership before Liverpool match. And it's going to be very, very interesting when it comes to the games that are on. Gabriel owners before 96 minutes. Gabriel owners by 96 minutes now. The goal comes in. Arsenal for have gotten the job done away from home. I mean, and it's quality all through for Mikel Arteta and Mantian. And if you look at how the English Premier League standings looks like, Arsenal are right there in the mix. Chelsea for stands now at the 8th with 8 points. Manchester City at the 7th with 10 points. Bournemouth at the 6th with 11 points. And of course, Fulham closing the top 10 also with those number of points. English Premier League number get very, very exciting for all of those managers. For Enzo Maresca and Mantier, they need to change something. They need to try and then change something with the games now. Because for the rest of the games now. We'll see how things have gone on. We'll see how things are going to go. Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. We'll go on with the conversation. More of the conversation I was on Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. They're analyzing the games now. We'll see how things are going to go on from there. I'm here much with the Champions League conversation. We'll come back with the Barcelona game post-match. Until then, do take care. Bye-bye.